Good morning,
Okay.
everybody.
Happy Tuesday. You've been predicting something for a while,
Yep.
and it is out there in the wild. So I'll let you explain a bit about this.
ChatGPT just dropped the Agentic Commerce Protocol. Now, if I understand it, the Agentic Commerce Protocol is supposed to be open for everybody to use. They want people to adapt this kind of standard. So they dropped it. And so right now, I think it's like Etsy and Stripe and a few other ones. They can do some payment purchases in that way. But basically, what it means for the end consumer is you will be able to chat with ChatGPT on your phone, on your computer, talk to it, type to it, whatever you want, and it'll be able to go out and make the purchases on your behalf.
The full purchase or browsing to present options for you.
To make the purchase, basically, a lot of the UI is handled on their site. There is a way to do the payment on the website based on some of the flows I've seen here. So you could send them back to your original website, but you can get everything else started. And I'm fairly certain within a short order, you will never have to leave ChatGPT, basically. So they're rolling this out still. This came out yesterday. I can't wait to wire it in, basically. I'm going to throw the CTA in there early today. If anybody has a project where you'd like to sell your product on ChatGPT directly, or I'm sure it's going to be about 5 minutes. Google released AP2, which is Agent Payment Protocol, just 2 weeks ago on the 16th. If you want to get wired in with that stuff, I would love to work with you. I am studying up to become as best of the expert as possible on this particular topic because I believe it's going to change the way everything works.
Is this Google AI or versus OpenAI? Is this another Betamax versus VHS moment?
I would say this is going into production now. It's ChatGPT is gaining space. So unless ChatGPT gets derailed soon, then probably not. It's gonna be more like your flavor of choice, Coke versus Pepsi, probably. I don't think ChatGPT is gonna leave, but there's gonna be people that like Claude, call Claude Diet Dr. Pepper or something like that. But again, the fact that they're releasing this openly means that I'm assuming we're gonna see other AI assistant provider adapt the standard. So right now, there's a little bit agent to agent versus this or agent payment protocol. There is a slight chance that those two could offset each other. But the fact that this one's already widely in use and that one was more of a proposed standard tells me that ChatGPT's got the leg up on Google right now for that. I'm not going to count Google out by any means.
So what's the biggest analogy to what this is going to be? The only thing that you can do this on now is if you go to Google Shopping and you say, okay, show me shoes. The big difference is Google, when you're on shopping, doesn't take any of your history into account. And you've got a great example of buying shoes that you've talked about, and you could probably link to that video about when you talk about that. But this is Google Shopping plus personal assistant in your phone, knowing your preferences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who is this most important for? Who should be paying attention? E-commerce players are going to be
That
hit
was
huge by this.
E-commerce. Everybody's complaining that search engine optimization isn't what it used to be. Google's no longer linking to their websites because people aren't going to go to your websites. They are going to use their tool of choice to browse 1,000 websites, and you want to be at the top of that list. It doesn't matter. Does it really matter if they come to your website as long as the check clears? People have to wrap their mind around that. About an hour after I found this thing, I already was reaching out to my clients saying, hey, I want this on your radar. E-commerce is the first one that comes to mind. I could see it being used for digitized products as well, but they've got to focus on shipping and logistics in there. So it's designed with physical products in mind. So a lot of people that sell physical products, you're going to want to keep this in there. Now, subscription, maybe a Dropbox, something like that might work on it, but like I'm thinking like subscription SaaSes or something like that, you're not going to probably yet go out there and shop for a new SaaS or something like that. Digital games, that's an interesting one. I could see Steam releasing this. I could say, hey, what games are on sale this week that fit my taste? I could see digital products working real well with it.
I could also see maybe not short term, but longer term service providers fitting in here. For example, right before this, you passed your phone off because you have a plumber coming. You could say, I need a plumber to come to my house at 10:30 to fix this problem. Who has availability? Instead of having to call 20 different plumbing companies.
That'd be interesting if they had like a Yelp API or TaskRabbit.
Or Angie's List once upon a time. I don't know if they still exist.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. The original topic for this video is going to be agentic economy and talking about bidding and things like that. But that'll be interesting to have agents bid on a job. They want to know what plumber can be here the fastest, which one's the best price, and so on. So I could start a bid of some type, bidding war for the people. The same thing goes too with the contrary to that. Say I'm a plumber and someone's going to pay me $100 to be there today, but the other guy's, listen, my house is being damaged. I'll give you $500 if you take my call over this other call. That could be some interesting stuff that comes from this. The AI would need to understand some logistics about how much a job takes and all that stuff. If it's enough money, you'd say, listen, I'll give you the whole day.
This is just about making sure that the plumber's endpoint knows enough about the plumber's preferences, right?
Yeah.
The plumber can put into their rules that says, if anybody has an emergency, the price is this, give them the option.
I wouldn't want my AI booking, same way I wouldn't want my AI to buy shoes that I haven't actually approved. I wouldn't want it booking a job for me that I haven't. This isn't Tahiti. I'm in Wisconsin. The cool thing is that this builds in a level of human in the loop still. So the AI is not just going out there and buying stuff willy-nilly. It's shopping for you. It's suggesting things to you and using the protocols here. This is how ChatGPT doesn't ask the AI, hey, do you think you should buy this? No, this is the product. Yeah, human, yes, no. And the human approves at the end.
It's more of a hyper-focused search agent with customized filters in that context, then, that just
Yeah,
give you the end options.
Yep. So there's a product feed. That's where it gets all the product information. And there's a checkout flow. So it can add stuff to the cart. It can get everything ready for you. It probably can put in your shipping address and all that stuff there. And then you at the end click approve. So instead of filling out all that forms 10 times over, it saves you a lot of headaches. You still, ideally, depending on the implementation, again, this stuff came out yesterday, so I'm working with it. The human would still have that final say. Okay, everything looks right. That is my real shipping address. Oh, I'm okay with paying $200 for shipping for a pair of 400-pound dumbbells. Sure, there we go. Yeah.
From a technology perspective, if you have a current e-commerce website, what is it going to take for somebody to open their platform to something like this?
It looks very simple. It's a very simple JSON schema for the most part. So it doesn't matter what language your site's written in. None of that stuff matters. I'm sure they're going to be releasing frameworks and
Every
packages.
language possible.
Exactly. But yeah, you expose a JSON endpoint to some extent. It gives you the product info. You take that, you create a checkout session, a cart session, which is very similar to what humans already do. But now we have a unified way of passing that back and forth. Some people might have been using cookies before, might have been using sessions, whatever. Now you'll use this very specific information that tells ChatGPT what their browsing session was. And then you check out. And as far as I can tell, they support a number of different payments. So it's not like they're limited to one payment provider. From what I'm seeing, you can link back to your website and have them finish and complete the payment stuff on your website. Of course, you'll probably be able to use Stripe's fast. PayPal's got to be about 10 seconds behind this if they're not already.
I think PayPal was tightly coupled with the Google announcement from earlier.
They're not trying to be like, hey, you have to use our payment system.
So is this essentially going to be a thin layer that sits across an existing API, or can it talk directly to an API?
This will talk to endpoints. You can call them an API, I suppose, but you'll expose and register an endpoint with these guys, and you'll say, this is basically what we sell. So when a query comes in saying, hey, I want to buy new shoes, the nosematchshoesstore.com/agents will return a JSON structure. So go query it and say, what's available today? What do you got on sale? And so ChatGPT will just do that, and other agents as well, whenever they're trying to search for things.
So if I've got a shoe store today, that shoe store has been crawled by Google. So if I go to Google Shopping and I type in shoes, my product will be somewhere in there potentially. This is the next evolution of that. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same as saying, I don't need a website because I don't care about Google 10 years ago.
If you don't have this, yeah, it'd be like not being mobilely optimized. We don't want Google picking this up. You're going to want to have your products be discovered by as many people as possible so you can make the biggest profit within that ethical means. Google crawls human readable web pages made of HTML, and they've got 5,000 lines of code.
95% of which is irrelevant to a computer.
An AI bot, an LLM. This just streamlines that whole process. It takes out all the extra noise, which makes the web page look very nice for a human, and it makes it so it streamlines. These bots can process the requests extremely fast and efficiently. I'm sure once I get in there and code, I'm going to be like, okay, there's some rough edges somewhere.
There's some ugly bits on the inside, but you can smooth them. That's your job, your expertise. Smooth the rough edges.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. That's what we do. Yeah, I cannot wait to wire one of these in.
It'd be interesting. I'm curious to find out who's going to be the first people out there with these available, because anybody who's curious about how this works is going to be buying stuff from them, even if
Yeah,
it's widgets from IKEA or something like that. But just to understand what the experience is going to be extremely interesting. Do you know if anybody is actually shipping or selling, or this is just yesterday, so it's too hot off the presses to even do anything?
I'm pretty sure I saw Etsy in there
The demo video, perhaps we could link to it, is brilliantly simple. It explains exactly what this does with almost 0 words.
with over 1 million Spotify merchants coming soon. So Spotify's going to have this technology 10 seconds from now. Shopify,
Okay,
Shopify,
okay, okay.
Shopify. My
That
apologies.
makes all the
Shopify,
sense in the world. That
Shopify
makes,
merchant.
EFI is huge, right? We know that. I
Um,
would be curious to know what percentage of the major e-commerce players out there, not obviously the tier one Adidas, Nikes, but how many people are actually on Shopify?
so co-developed this with Stripe.
Stripe's playing the long game because they can be the payment integration platform. If you have a Stripe account and the merchant has a Stripe account, you can even,
Bypass, what's it called? The main credit
yep.
card one, the one you shut Russia from a while ago, that one. Yeah, so no, Stripe, I thought they were being relatively quiet. And I was just like, why are they not? And then this drops, and I'm like, I see
They
what
were
they're
busy.
doing.
They were going to make a splash.
You've got one of the biggest payment providers on the internet, especially to anything new, fast tech,
Small business
and then you've got this giant AI juggernaut. It's a match made in heaven. It's
and
a
Shopify,
brilliant business.
and arguably the biggest e-commerce platform in the world.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know the numbers of Spotify versus something like WooCommerce. I'd be really curious to know that.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. I'm sure they've got to be working on this. That's something you've talked about. We should release a WordPress plugin for payment
Huh.
type things like that.
I found several GitHub repos. Nothing looked particularly mature, but people have taken several swings at this. I don't know which one's going to go anywhere, but like I said, there's a couple plugins out there. I just don't know how good they are. I haven't tried them.
If you're not running on Shopify or WooCommerce, don't stress on it. They've got open applications to become a merchant right now. I could see them playing favorites, which wouldn't be great, but that's how the game's played. If you're in a niche market, you don't have to compete against. I'm trying to
Everybody,
think.
everybody.
Yeah, Amazon. You can really own your niche market there, so it is doable. The fact that they're open sourcing this instant checkout ACP, it's called Agentic Commerce Protocol, is huge for you. So you're going to have to be competitive. It's just going to be slightly different the way people interact with you. There will be first mover advantage. That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine being the first person to sell books on the internet.
Speaking of them, where's their play in this? I haven't seen them release anything. I heard they were in the Google initiative. There's got to be something coming in the next days.
I've got theories though. Amazon, if you look at where they're making most of their money, it's not in shipping retail product. They make a ton of money on AWS. But if you look at Amazon right now, paid to promote product is an interesting thing. With the advent of
You're talking from the merchant perspective, the merchant paying within the
sponsored
platform. Okay,
to
yep,
promote your own product and get it at the top of that list. They're making a significant amount of
lots.
money from that. Now, second, we allow our agentic software in there. I could put a prerogative for my agent to filter out anything sponsored. I just want to see things straight up. So that could cut into their sponsorship business model. Maybe that's making more money than their physical goods business model. It's got to be a tricky business doing physical goods right now. That's one of the reasons I think they've been slow to adapt. The same reason there isn't a Facebook MCP is because Facebook doesn't want your AI to filter out stuff. Same reason I was trying to do proactive engagement on various forums, LinkedIn and stuff like that, where I'd have an AI search for problems I could solve so I can genuinely go help these people. And LinkedIn's like, the hell with you. No, you got to sit there and stare at our ads all day.
And we know 50 to 80% of at least my social feeds, LinkedIn, Facebook, et cetera, are sponsored content.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're slow to adapt because they're going to lose those eyeballs. They pay for eyeballs.
Yeah. And we've talked about this as well. Google is going to probably slap ads in Gemini at some point. Meta, I can't believe they wouldn't release something that's got ads on it. So if you control the interface, the LLM and all the content you're going to feed to it, and then you put ads in after the LLM does its magic, you still get eyeballs. They're probably still working on that right now. Otherwise, if you don't control that and just let people's LLMs filter out all the ads you shove in their faces, then your business model's screwed. The value drops to zero to the advertisers and you're doomed. So
pay to play, pay to promote, you advertise on Google, you advertise on Facebook, you pay for premium placement in LinkedIn or Amazon. Where does that sort of model appear within this? Because people are going to find a way to promote, businesses are going to find a way to promote their own self-interest.
With that feed I was talking about, the product feed, I want to dive into this one right now. If you want to hide something, put it on page 2 of Google. They're going to be getting all this information, but the agents, though, ChatGPT agents, are going to look at 5 different feeds. So with Google, it's one feed. Google's, hey, we want this search term to be at the top of this because people are paying for that. ChatGPT is going to be pulling from dozens of
hundreds
shoe
of
stores,
sources.
hundreds of shoe stores. You're going to search Amazon for shoes. You're going to search Joe's Shoes for shoes.
Nike, Adidas, DSW, etc.
The way Joe's Shoe ranks it, that's going to factor in a little bit, but then it also gets reorganized on the other side once it gets into ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT will probably prioritize certain feeds over other feeds based on so ChatGPT might say, hey, pay to be one of our premium feeds, and you'll be in the top 5 feeds we search, and then everybody else is buried on page 2, which is interesting. But if the LLM can't find something to sell to its user and the sponsored feeds, then eventually it'll start going to the more regular feeds. So that's going to be
there's a whole new flavor of SEO juice coming out of this that we don't even know what it looks like yet.
Yeah, and basically I think showing up on the homepage Google isn't going to be what it used to be. That's my theory as time goes on, unless Google makes some big changes, and they don't want to lose that, but the times they are changing.
They're just going to have to diversify their product offerings, and they will find a way to monetize it.
They'll spy whoever figures it out. I'm fairly certain on that. Yeah.
Why don't you give us a sign off on who we should be talking to? Who should be calling you right now to set up an appointment to have a conversation on the future of what this looks like?
Do you currently get paid from selling things on the internet? Or do you use search engine traffic to make sales? I'd love to talk to you. If you rely on the internet to have your clients discover your product and you sell it via a credit card processor or anything but cash.
And there are probably situations where payments are important, but product discovery in general is going to be changed as well. Even if you're not selling something, is this
product discovery? Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So that's the email I led with yesterday when I just told my clients we got to be on this. So with that said, I would love to talk to you about this. I haven't gone into incredible technical detail today, but if you're more on the technical side and you want a workshop on this, leave a comment and I'll build a workshop around this. If you're less on the technical side and you just want us to advise you on how to build this best or just get it built, reach out to us. We'll have a landing page up. We're doing a live stream. So the page exists, but the images aren't quite there.
We'll drop that in the comments as well. If the images change, so be it. But
reach out to us, hello@schematical.com, or just go to schematical.com and find us, messages on LinkedIn, whatever. We're going to have a lot of conversations around this. I want to be with the people that are first action on this and are ahead of the game here. We'll look back at this in 12 months and be like, how on earth were people not on?
No, we want to be deep in this in the next several months because this is not going away anytime soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye on this beautiful Tuesday?
No, I'm eager to get building right now. Let's get to it.
All right, everybody. Great chat, Matt. We'll be back next Tuesday. Maybe we'll talk about this, something else. Anybody out there that runs any sort of e-commerce, let's have a quick jam session to see how this is going to impact your business starting yesterday into the future.
And it's Dominic DeMarco and Matt Lee. Schematical.com, SCHEMATICAL.com. Thanks.